Stretch your legs out long. Reach your arms behind you. And just take your right arm and your right leg and try to pull them away from each other and really stretch out through your right side. Then we'll come back to center. Do the same on the left. Reach through your left arm and your left leg. And come center. Right arm and right leg. Especially for your back, reach through your hip more than you reach through your arm. So you're trying to pull your right hip away from your right rib. And center, left arm, left leg. And come center. And then we'll bring your arms down by your sides. Bend your knees. You want to bring the heels pretty close to your hips and make sure your feet and knees are hip distance apart. Without lifting your hips off the floor, just make sure your lower back is flat. So you may have to tuck the tailbone slightly, but you're not actually lifting your hips up. Hold it here and then see if you can just squeeze your butt cheeks and hold it. Super simple, very effective. And then release. And again, press the lower back down and pinch your butt and hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. And squeeze. Press the back down and hold. And release. And squeeze and hold. Good. And release. Squeeze and hold. Let's see if you can squeeze a little bit harder. And release. So 3 more. Squeeze and hold. And release. Squeeze and hold. I almost want to think of squeezing like the inner butt cheeks together and then the outer as well. Use everything you got back there. And release. 1 more time. Squeeze and hold. And release. And if Emery has like a small like ball that he plays with that's inflatable, you can use that, or you can put a rolled up bath towel between your thighs. You just want to make sure your legs start out about hip distance apart. So you put that in between your legs, otherwise everything stays the same. Make sure the back is flat once again, and then just squeeze that ball or towel with your inner thigh so you feel those muscles working and hold. Your inner thigh muscles are super important for supporting your lower back. And then release the pressure. Squeeze your inner thighs and hold. And release. Squeeze and hold. Release. Squeeze and hold. Release. 4 more. Squeeze and hold. Release. And squeeze. Release. Squeeze. Release. And squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. We'll take that out. Okay, from here, now you do have a pelvic lift, but it's gonna be very small. So you wanna curl the tailbone away from the floor, just so you have about maybe 2 inches underneath. You wanna think of really rounding the lower back. So the tailbone's almost curling up towards the ceiling. Once you have that, very gently start pulling your hips towards your heels with your hamstrings. It might actually cramp a little bit back here, and that's okay. Just hold it. So you should be feeling your butt in the backs of your thighs working here. And then we'll roll back down. And then lift the hips again, really curling the tailbone under to create a round shape in the lower back. Then start to pull your hips forward towards your heels. And just hold it there. You're strengthening the hamstrings, and they're actually lengthening your lower back by pulling your hips forward, so you're creating some space between those vertebrae that are compressed back there. And lower down. Roll the hips up just a tiny bit. Then take them forward. It's like your knees are reaching forward over your toes. And roll back down. We have 2 more. Roll up a little. Send your thighs forward. You might actually need to lift the hips a tiny bit more so you can take them a little further forward. And roll back down. One more time. Roll up a little bit higher than before and lengthen forward. Still tucking your butt under as much as possible in this position. And then roll back down. Okay, we'll leave the legs for a bit. We'll do a little for your upper back. So you're just gonna press your hands into the floor. Make sure the back of your neck is long and your lower back is flat once again. Just press your arms into the floor to roll the shoulders open gently. This should not lift your spine away from the floor, so make sure your back is still flat. You should feel your triceps and the muscles in your upper back working. It's almost like you're trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together into the mat. And then release pressure. And press and hold. Just make sure it's not going into the neck, so the shoulders stay far away from the ears. And release. Press and hold. Opening your chest. You're hunched over the baby all the time. Nice way to correct your posture while lying flat. And release. 2 more. Press and hold. And release. Press and hold. And release. It will bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug here. And then you can either go side to side with your knees or just draw some small circles to massage your lower back. Go the other way. Okay, and then from here, you're going to take your right leg over your left leg. So the knees are crossed. Your arms will make a T. Both knees are going to go to your left and your head's going to go to the right. And then we'll come center, uncross the legs, and switch to the other side. Left knee over right knee. Now both legs go to your right and you look to your left. You can also use this hand here to help press the knee down. And your opposite shoulder is reaching towards the floor. We have 1 more each way, right over left. And center and left over right. And center. Okay, we'll take your right leg up, grab the back of your thigh. Just stretch out your hamstrings because they also pull on the lower back. You can flex and point your foot. And you're going to want to take the supporting foot a little further from your hip. Take your right leg into your left hand. You can even hold your thigh here. Both hands can kind of guide the leg towards your left shoulder. You'll probably need to put your right hand down at some point. It doesn't have to go very far to your left. You're just trying to stretch around the outside of your right hip where you said you were having some pain. It does help to turn your right knee to the right a little bit. So you're almost opening that hip and reaching it away from your right rib again. Then we'll come center, do the same on the other side. Start with the hamstring stretch. Flex and point the foot. Make sure your lower back is still flat. Take this supporting leg a little further from your hip. Turn your left knee to the left And then use your hands to guide it over towards your right shoulder. Then if you can, bring your left hand to the mat. It should feel pretty awful on the outside of your left hip. Trying to reach your left hip away from your left rib. And then we'll come to center. Grab your legs, use your stomach to roll up. You can use a little momentum if you need to. Walk your feet a comfortable distance away from your hips, and your hands are gonna come behind your thighs. From here, you can either keep your knees hip width or together, whatever feels better for you. Bend your elbows and lean forward over your legs. You're trying to get your midsection to your thighs. So you're gonna really pull with your arms. And then from there, deepen your stomach muscles. You can keep your eyes on your belly button as you lean back, just about halfway, wherever's comfortable. But the most important thing here is that your tailbone goes under. So you're reaching your lower back, especially that sore place, towards the floor while the head and shoulders stay forward. You're gonna hold it here. And oddly enough, you actually wanna use your arms. So you're gonna bend your elbows and pull with your biceps and then resist with your stomach. So this is pulling back as your head goes forward. So this sore part opens as you come up. Sit up tall just to reset your spine. And then round forward again. It's like someone has a string attached to your belly button that goes out through your spine. And they're pulling you back from your center. It also helps to squeeze your butt as you go back. So the lower you go, the more you should be able to squeeze these muscles back here. Create that resistance again. So you're pulling with your biceps, and that should allow you to suck your stomach in, kind of like you're zipping up tight jeans. As you come up, and you'll release it all as you come forward. Sit up tall. Round your back again. And from your stomach, go back, curling the tailbone under. The sore part of your back is reaching to the floor. Really pinching your glutes. And keep rounding your back as you come up, pulling with your arms, resisting with the stomach. And round forward. Sit up tall. We've got 2 more. Squeeze and roll back. Curling the tailbone under. Target the muscles between your hip bones. Really pull them in and use your arms to help you go up and over. One last time. Round your back. Stomach in. And you're still round as you come up. You want to think of lengthening your waist a little in that round shape. So you're pulling your ribs away from your hips. Your head still stays forward. You're trying to create space in your spine so your waist goes up and over. And we'll sit up tall. Then we'll make your way into your hands and knees. And it's very simple cat-cow. So you're going to push through your hands and push through your thighs to round your back. And pull your stomach up in opposition. And you're going to arch the back. Belly goes to the floor, head goes up. And round the back. Use your arms and your legs to create the roundest shape possible in your spine. Roll through the hips. Open the chest. Round the back. Push down to go up. Your arms and legs are working. Your glutes are working here to really curl the tailbone under. Open the chest. One more time. Round the back. Lifting through the waist. Putting pressure. Use your stomach to put pressure into the sore spot in your spine here. Really press it up to the ceiling. Head is coming towards your rib cage. And open the chest. From here, just sit back towards your heels. Climb your arms forward and stretch out your spine. Deep breaths.